From me to you, blessings, peace, prosperity. I don't know, man. I just try to stay in a positive, on a positive note, regardless of what I do, regardless of what I've been through. Um, Very challenging, I must say. Um, but I understood that everything happens for a reason. I once had a female that tell me a long time ago when I was a teenager. She was like, God don't take nothing he can't use. And then I started accepting, understanding that when people was dying in my life, you know, that wasn't necessarily being taken away from me because I needed those people to look over me type shit. And it was something that I was supposed to learn or something it was just always something. I've always seen God just showing me his way. And the more I start paying attention and start listening, the more I start feeling more, I start seeing things more clearly. Things start being more gratifying. I start seeing this sense of, it was more than just confidence. I found a sense of security, peace, finally. And I started to understand how to finally live. It wasn't the money, it wasn't none of that extra shit. To finally just slow my ass down long enough to finally think, to finally see ahead, and to finally make decisions where I don't allow myself to get caught up in certain things and shit like that. So I took my power away from others that I allowed to make me upset. I stopped being so quick to react to every action because I understood that every action don't deserve a reaction. I found peace in my solitude, understanding that my life ain't another bitch entertainment, so I choose when I want to be bothered and things like that. And it brought me down to this subject, which I want to thank this lady. I think her name is Tracy. I ran across a video where she was giving some pointers about making your little lives and stuff like that. And I decided to go off that subject, pretty much following her the instructions or whatever she was saying. Appreciate that also. But this thing about being chosen and choosing yourself, this get deep because I try not to think one way while I'm just leaning, and I'm a guy, and I would say I make content only for the fellas, but it's just not. I drill it in my guy's ear because I seen the mistakes and I constantly see a repeated cycle of the mistakes happening over and over again. So my advice go for woman and man, but most definitely to my men, because our average young men, they grow up kind of, they tend to go left before they go right. And I seen so many things from being that person and that going through those experiences myself. And I just decided to be a voice to speak on certain things, start writing about what I see, what I feel. And that's all I'm doing to this day. But what I understood with life, I had to find out the hard way that sometimes your love will come in some of the most extraordinary, strangest places unexpectedly. The moment that we look and start to expect certain things, that's when the moment you will honestly be let down. You can't expect shit. And then it comes down to, I guess, this relationship thing. Everybody would always want to know, well, damn, how do I make this work? How do I do this? Or how will I know when it's right? Then what about those who feel like they can do it alone? And how about those that do it alone? And then I've seen those people who had no choice but to do it alone in situations where you've seen women that have been married to guys that have been so good to them to where her heart can't go out to no one else. Like when he died, a part of her died too, so she continued to raise the kids on her own and just stayed to herself, been celibate ever since. I done met women like that. I have. Man, I meet them all. I seen them all, and I try to learn from them all. But my life was just so different, man. And that's why I wrote my story. And I tried to understand it myself till I had no choice but to take the time out to just learn and figure it out. But I seen a lot of shit, probably too much, too soon. But it advanced me to a point where I guess you can say it seasoned me. It had me hip. And I don't know, at a young age I just was advanced. I knew a lot of shit and I just always had a voice and had my own way of doing shit. So I didn't understand that part of as far as when a man chase a woman, or I don't do that. I always understood being chosen and things like that. But then once I got older, I said to myself one day, I said, nigga, you've been taming wild animals your whole goddamn life. Just think about what you've been doing. But when it comes time to where a man has to make a choice, if that's what you choose to do, then you gotta have a preference. It's okay for you to have a preference. And it's okay for you to have exactly what you want, if that's what you want. But to be completely honest with you, relationships ain't for everybody. Why do I say that? I say that because of plenty of things. One, when you look at how things are today, it's kind of crazy. And it doesn't seem like it's getting no better. But you do have that small portion of women that do understand and refuse to be like the social norms, the majority that, they do whatever they do. But to each his own, because you love those too. But when we talk about peace, that's a certain type of respect, love, and dedication to yourself that ain't amount of piece of pussy or of dick or no one else can bring you, bro. That's something you gotta find within. And when you find that, you be very, very careful with who you allow to come within your game room and within your circle, period. Because once that, some people don't regain it. And some people never find peace. That's why I say, man, once I figured out how to live, and it was just simple. Just slow your ass down and live one day at a time. Stop always trying to rush and think ahead. And that was the biggest problem with what I seen with a lot of young males. And what they don't teach you, or what you don't hear most of the times, is how you're supposed to put yourself first. Because at some point, guys get to thinking, well, damn, at the end of the rainbow, it's supposed to be me finding a woman and settling down and spending the rest of my life and being happy. And yeah, that shit sounds good, but it takes a lot of work, a lot. On top of the work that you put in, there's also a certain amount of experience that has to be done, that has to be experienced in order for a person to know what they want, to know what to look for, and to know what the fuck not to go for type shit. It gets confusing sometimes, because there'll be a side of you that, damn if you do, then again, damn if you don't. But then I discovered there's not a single thing that I can't do on my own type shit. And a lot of times when I do allow myself personally to get involved or open up to motherfuckers, there'll always be something that'll pretty much make me, I don't know. And I can't say I'm perfect, but just pretty much, I guess you could say, stuck in my ways. The player lifestyle. It can be overwhelming, I must say. I have women asking me all the time, like, oh, you, this. Baby, I don't just open myself up to just anybody just because a bitch like me. It don't work like that. I ain't just any type of nigga. I don't do all that. You know what I'm saying? And my energy is a lot. I just so different in my own little way. And I try to I think this one person understood it. But it's like, somebody even asked me that one day. Well, like, bitch say, you gonna probably be in an old home. I said, bitch, I got kids. And I take great care of myself, but then you don't know how your life may end up as far as what the future may bring type shit. But I'm smart enough to know better. And at this point in my life, I got damn near everything to my disposal. So I really ain't tripping on sex, no bras, being with nobody, or none of that old type of shit. But I understand that there's some people that's gonna go through some things that I haven't experienced. and to keep you from going down that rabbit hole, because everybody don't have to go through certain shit. I'm going to tell you before you even touch that stove, it's hot. I'm going to tell you before you even go that route, it ain't meant for everybody. And, you know, just make the best out whatever. You can't expect a motherfucker to be perfect. That's one thing that I had to understand, because I'm not. And then when I took the time out to think about the people that dealt with my shit and all the shit that I took them through, they had to be strong. So then I started understanding really what love was to a certain extent. Even although that there's people that have been hurt in the shadow or within that trail of me trying to figure that shit out or understanding it. But it made me who I am, a better man of understanding women, a better man of understanding the part that women take in this world and the importance of a woman. But at the same time, not going for anything, because I've seen so much and learned so much from just paying attention to women. Now guys, especially my young men, you're supposed to choose yourself first over anything. Before you have a child, before you decide that you want to give your heart to a woman. How you know how to love if you don't first know how to love yourself? Why force yourself to understand someone else who may possibly become a be fucking just hard to deal with just because, when you don't even know yourself? It's so much shit you gotta understand first. And this ain't the shit that they teach you in school. And I don't know too many people that sit you down and tell you, man, look, you gotta put yourself first and get yourself in position, man. You wanna learn how this stuff go and tell yourself. Because the little girl, they already knowing this shit. I was hard on mine. 14, 15 years old. Them little girls be working by the time they 15 years old. And then they be on that type of shit from day one. And then they, you know, they take off. 20, 21. They trying to have shit. They buying their own little cars, or they trying to find their own little place. We tend to pamper our sons. Let them play ball. Let them do as much. I get on my baby mama all the time about one of my sons. I tell them all the time, don't ruin them little dude. You can't. Because I saw what that shit does. I witnessed it myself growing up as a young man. And my mother would do these things where she would spoil my brother. She would let him get away with everything. And those little mamas will be around my pops. Pops wouldn't go for that shit. You know, he wasn't strict. He just didn't play. You know what I'm saying? I remember this one time I walked out the store with some chewing gum, and he ain't pay for it. And he fucked around and seen me reach in my pocket on the way coming out the store, about to open that shit and eat it. And he caught me right in the middle about to open that motherfucker. And he said, boy, where you get that candy from? I'm about 6, 7 years old. And he knew he ain't buy it. He made me take my ass right back in there and give it back to them folks type shit. You know what I'm saying? Being responsible. That's something that he always taught. And young men, once we understand how to be responsible for ourselves, then I think you'll be more capable of understanding what you feel like you would need when it comes down to your other half or your better half or whatever you want to consider that relationship being and all of those shit. But experience is a must. It's a crazy world we live in. So understand how to live first of all. Understand that first and foremost. That's going to be one of the most important things. It took me to get in my 40s for me to understand this shit. It wasn't all the whole. It wasn't none of the love they tried to show me. None of the things they tried to give me or do for me that made me open my eyes and see. It took for me to want to understand and see this shit for myself. And bro, it's a hard, I can't really explain it how I feel, but I think every man has to go through that. Whether you go through a certain type of heartache, hurt, this certain type of solitude that you find strength within, something. But you're gonna hear God call. And when you do, you gotta answer. Make sure your ears are open to listen. Make sure your eyes are peeled to pay attention to the signs and see it. That's why I say pay attention to all the details. And when you feel it, it's going to be a natural high, way more than any drug could ever give you. And then when you think about it, you're going to be cautious with who you allow to come in your space, because you're not going to want a motherfucker to take that away. Straight up. You know? So I just think it's on the right to coach our young men to be better men, to get them to understand how to become men. Because that wasn't living to me when I think about it. It was unhealthy. Doing what you want when you want, you know, it was unhealthy. And if you don't know any better, I know guys now to this day that will never change. It ain't in them to change. But you have to understand that change is necessary. And that's why I chose to make content and do what I do, because I sit and I watch so much shit. I read so much shit. I seen the pimp game for what it was worth. And I seen those guys do whatever they do, and I learned some valuable skills from them, because niggas like, shout out to Ken, Uncle Ken, man. I talked to Ken, what it was, yesterday, day before yesterday, a couple of days ago. And didn't even know he was following me the whole time or whatever. Shout out to Ken, man. Cool dude. And out of all the books I've read, Bird, Ken, and fucking Donald Goins wrote some of the best books I ever read. And Iceberg, I think he probably was the coldest. Bird told a nigga straight up, he warned you in the first fucking page or two. Basically like, man, this ain't the life for you if you ain't gonna understand this shit, because a lot comes with it. And it's true. It's true. You may think you wanna become a player, or you may think you wanna have all these hoes, and man, you know what comes with that shit. Dealing with all those different personalities, all that energy rubbing off on you. You're trying to be everywhere at one time. You spread yourself thin. That weight, that guilt, or you feeling that void of somebody feeling left out, and you, man, bro, there's a lot that comes with that shit. And I can't tell you about the guys who, cause I learned and I watched and I read those stories and seen how they, you know, guys will do certain things. But I always like the classic women. A woman I can look at after I done came up out of, I got her next to me, and I can appreciate her being next to me, and she ain't just any type of bitch. I ain't just going for any type of thing. So that's been more of my type of thing. So I had the opportunity to sit back and understand, like, damn, the impact that I have. So I started being more cautious and careful, because those women would put it all on the line for a nigga. And they wouldn't just do that for just anybody. You know what I'm saying? So love was being defined in so many ways. But I had to find myself, because my entire life it was like I was being pulled in so many different directions. You know, since a little boy, my brother showing me things. I'm seeing things, acknowledging things. I'm hearing shit too soon. I'm seeing things way too soon. And it's like I'm being gravitated towards all this shit that wasn't good for me. And it kind of turned me out to a certain extent, but I didn't get lost in it, because I found myself. And I guess I stayed grounded through prayer, because I always ask for guidance. And God give us what we ask for. And at some point, I had to start aligning my lifestyle up with my prayers. If this is what I really want, I had to start lining up my activities with the things that I pray for. Watch what I do. Watch the company I keep. Watch the way I move. All that old stuff. So I think that's very important. When you start thinking ahead, and when you start thinking period, I think you could better prepare yourself for whatever the future may bring. You know, because you just won't know. You never know. Check my potato. I got this habit of making my potatoes homemade janks with the plain. It tastes better that way. I would show y'all my little recipe, but I don't do that. My little chicks be coming over and be trying to peep what I be cooking and how I be cooking with jank, but I don't be letting them see shit. Just to find the result. And then I bake damn near everything. I have one of my nephews asked me, Say, oh, how you keep yourself together, how you stay healthy and this and that. I guess it's a discipline thing, man. But this ain't some shit that I just decided to do all of a sudden one day. I've been this way since a little boy. I always watched what I eat, things that I did. I just paid attention. So, I don't know. And then once I learned how to do things myself, I kind of got like stuck in my ways. I hate fast food. Kind of found out once I got older, it come to the light. They was putting shit in the food. So I'm glad I always was following my instincts. I wouldn't just eat anything. Been that way. Nigga don't watch just anything. Like I'm just so happy, man. I prayed for everything that I asked for. I can honestly say that. I prayed for every single thing I asked for. And the most important thing was guidance. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know I'm going somewhere. And with what I'm doing is so different. Tell you a little something about this whatever you want to call it. Because I don't really even consider what I do content. Then I keep hearing people like, podcast. And I thought about all that old shit. And I do. And then I was watching something earlier about brand deals and how they, I just be watching shit and be paying attention. But then I say somewhere, because I see a lot of folks be watching this shit, and I'm like, damn, I wonder if there is an intimidating factor in there somewhere or something. Because just like I had reached out to Uncle Ken, a lot of respect for Ken, man. A lot of respect. Not only because of Holmes, shit, like he said, probably one of the best that ever did it and got away with it, but I always just liked the King. He was one of them that kind of like stood out for some of the rest that I read about and heard about. And I think this little young nigga had tried to play me, man. I'm glad he thought twice because he was finna get himself into a whole lot of shit. I hadn't fucked around and then did my little homework within. I hadn't found out everything I need to know within 20, 30 minutes, and less than that. And at the moment I peeked him out, I said, I'm going to patiently wait and see if he going to do that. But yet and still, he must have took a second look and knew he couldn't do that. But it's a video. I put it on my page because it was kind of funny. But it wasn't funny as far as on no disrespectful shit. I seen what the little nigga had did, and it kind of, the funny part was he hadn't got up under Unc's skin. And Unc was pissed. But I seen exactly what that little nigga did and how he did it. So I was like, wow. I wondered this little nigga was going to try that same shit with me. First of all, I got to tell you, my nigga, to the world, in case you don't know, I am not a pimp. No, I am not a pimp. No. I don't believe in, I believe in getting money out of broad, because even swap ain't no swindle. What it look like, you doing everything and the bitch don't do nothing. And then to go and do some shit for another motherfucker who got enough sense to ask her. And that's all it take type shit. That's on you. If you the type of nigga that's gonna fumble on that type of shit. But bro, when you coming like I'm coming and you a certain type, bro, it's on the right. Bitch, you gotta come clean. You come through with it, cause a nigga gonna do the same for you. But I guess it was the paper. Holmes seemed like he wanted to do an interview with Uncle or some shit. And like soon as they started, he just started, I hate pimps. I don't like pimps. The nigga said he don't like God. I can't do business with I believe in God. Holmes call himself the devil. I said, let me check bro out. Look, I see a few pictures. I see a flashy lifestyle. I see all this shit on. Then I go to the music. I said, hold up. Okay, skip a song or two. Alright, I hear some devilish crazy shit. To each his own. But then I got to wondering. And I don't know about you guys, But a real man can always see something if it's something wrong with another man. And you can't cover that shit up with material things. Even with the bitches. As I'm looking at the pictures and video, a nigga have the baddest hoes around. But you taking pictures with your hand on a girl's firm of their back. The bitches, they look like a nigga paid for a bitch to get in a picture and take a picture with a nigga. So then I got to thinking about perception and what guys be really doing, really stuck on that content creating shit. And I'm like, oh. And I was right. Good thing he didn't double back and try that shit with me because, bro, whoa. I don't believe in to each his own because I know some homosexuals that'll beat your motherfucking ass. Really, like that. Will fuck you over real quick. I know a few of them that will beat your ass. So it's no disrespect to homosexual and things like that. But whenever you hear a guy constantly talk about other people may be gay and things like that, I always felt like it's something wrong with them. And then when I looked at these tape covers or whatever the fuck you want to call them, I'm noticing Holmes using an AI for his pitch. Bro, my nigga, I know fat niggas with motion. I know some bitches who love fat niggas. I know some bitches who love ugly niggas all of a sudden when they get money. So I don't know no too funny that's hide behind pictures and material shit and all. So I kind of peep game. And I'm like, you know what? It's a good thing. But I had to holler at Uncle Ken myself and gave him a phone call like, hey, man, I saw the video. And, you know, that I told him the truth. It was kind of funny, but I seen exactly what that young nigga did. And Aunt wasn't tripping, but he agreed. He was like, yeah, that little nigga, he tried some shit. It was funny. Aunt, you gotta forgive me, dog. But that young nigga got up under your skin, man. Uncle had the goddamn. I told that nigga, you ain't no pimp, nigga. He told that nigga so. Bro, the funniest shit, cause man, that shit was crazy, man. But you don't disrespect a legend in the game like that, man. You don't, and you just don't, bro. I just don't believe in kicking a nigga while they down, holding my nuts on a nigga, none of that shit. So it's no shame to bro either, to the young man. And I figured the nigga gotta be kind of young, but man, these niggas are strange, man. You see some strange ass shit. And I kind of understand now why there may be a little intimidation sometimes. Because I've seen so many people do so much shit, man. I had I even spoke with Gangster. I spoke with Gangster one time, man. I had a partner that did time with Gangster. So my partner called me. He like, hey, man, how you be doing your little live and shit? I say, bro, what you mean? Just be yourself. Go on there and just whatever. So when I caught back up with him, he like, yeah, man, you know, I did time with bro and such and such. Maybe you should holler at him and see what's up or whatever. So I'm like, shit, I'm all for it. You know, I done heard a lot about home, you know, a real nigga as far as I heard, as far as what I can see. And I pass no judgment or nothing like that. So I reached out, you know, politic just a little bit. When I did, I felt a slight pause. I say, home, stop what he was doing and took a look at my page. Then he got back on there. That nigga reply was, shit, I just do podcast. I said, these niggas crazy, man. But then I seen some earlier, these brands and all that old type of shit. I ain't that friendly, brand friendly, where you could just, you know what I'm saying? I represent me, and I say, fuck it, I'm a walking brand and influencer myself. So all that shit, guys ask me all kind of shit all the time. I just sold earlier, damn near 20 different cologne. Fuck it, make my own cologne. Everything that I'm doing, I mean, I'm putting it down, y'all picking it up, I might as well. I'm not looking for no motherfucking brand. They got their own thing, let them do them, I'm gonna do me. Fuck it. And at some point, niggas gonna have, I ain't looking for you to make no room, cause I ain't come to fit in. I ain't come to stay, cause I damn sure I ain't come to play. So I wanted to be, I want to be recognized and respected from being totally different from just a nigga that do podcasts. I'm not finna sit here and glorify all that shit that I used to do. So it'd be weird to me to see a nigga in their 50s and it'd be crazy, man. I'd be like, okay. But anyway. We must teach and lead by example is what I understand as far as being a leader. I was told that a leader isn't a leader because he leads. But you understand true leadership when you're able to bring those leadership skills out of others. And that probably was the most important thing I ever heard. That was deep when I heard, I forgot who said it. I think Nurture or one of those Greek philosophers or some shit. But like I said, I do a lot of reading and listen to a lot of shit. But somebody ended up saying that, and it made perfectly good sense. Throughout my life, that's all I've been doing, pulling your coat or trying to, that's just always been my thing. I always just had a sense of direction myself. And everybody not gonna think that way. So the fact that we do have podcasts and content creating, there's a lot of valuable information there now. Because back in the day, we didn't have that. What you had, that Steve whatever show, you had that Ricky Lake shit, and you had Arsenio Hall. And that was the only thing that people had to go to and think about how that shit was created. It was never designed or catered for a man to get no type of understanding of nothing. Whatever the broad say went, whatever go. And before the man could even come out and take a seat, boo, boo, boo. And what the hoes do? You ain't telling a nigga nothing manly. You really just talking down on a nigga, talking shit, and you just see a bunch of square behavior. So you can point out the mistakes, but you don't give a solution. They don't teach you this shit in school, and then they make laws for motherfuckers that don't know no better so they can stay paid by keeping your ass in jail. And it doesn't make sense. And then they create a system to try to make it seem like they trying to help. Is that the case, then we gotta begin with the motherfucking truth. And the truth is, dog, sometimes you're gonna have to scratch beneath the surface to see what's beneath it because you're not gonna see it always on top. And that's just the way that it is. That's why they don't teach you this shit in school. Little nigga made a video. He was riding. He pointed out maybe 8 to 10 cars. And every last one of them was hard-working people driving nice vehicles. But then he was like, and I'm pushing this, but I don't work for a living. I started being my own boss and all this shit and all this stuff and all that old type of shit. And it made perfectly good sense. When you think about the system and the way the system was designed, first of all, the way of the world was designed to crush the human spirit. The system was designed to keep you trapped. Whether you working a 9 to 5, whether you, all this shit. That's why, bro, you have to pay attention. You got to learn. You have to, bro, and you have to be smart enough to ask questions. Dig beneath the surface. Read between the lines. Because it's not going to always be right there where you can see it. You're killing each other every motherfucking day. You beefing, falling out every fucking day behind what? This pet ass money a nigga can always get back. These bitches that's gonna jump ship to ship and continue to do the same thing after your ass dead and gone and when you in or out of jail, however it may go. They're not gonna teach you this shit in school. This shit was designed to be this way. So therefore, what it does to the young man that grows up not understanding, you become lost. You get fucked over by the system. And you become another number or just another mark on the wall. Nigga crossing you out. Prime example. This shit gotta stop. Prime motherfucking example. That Ben 10 shit and all that old stuff. First of all, I ain't got no say-so as far as how niggas rock and whatever they do. But god damn it, man. I seen a reaction video where I guess the little dude from Detroit. And they said, I'm sure y'all have seen this shit by now, but they saying Junior did some old shit, sent the nigga, and Ben was the crash dummy to go for it, and the nigga damn near killed him. You almost lost your life behind some dumb shit. And man, anybody could be touched. Some of the toughest gangsters then got smoked. And the little dude capitalizing off making fun of them because of all the shit they was doing. And then Ben from the hospital bed about to put himself in jail because he want to tell his side of the story about what really happened. Running the bloggers, academic. This is the future. This are the future generation. This shit gotta stop, man. Where the fuck do we go from here? This shit has to stop. You got just over that weekend alone, 40,000 reported cases, man. Just in Houston by itself with that weekend alone. Look at this. Look what the fuck going on. Do you read? Look at the Bible. Everything that's going on, it was written many years ago, way before we even existed. And you still choose not to believe? Pay attention. Look. Pick up the book and read it yourself. That shit it's so vivid to it's scary. But it's true. So you go to God and you pray and you ask for the right answers and things that you need and the direction that you should go. Because, dog, we are not going to know everything. So I'm blessed to be one of the few that's still living. And all I ask is to learn how to continue to keep living so I can live healthy. Because when I was younger, man, nigga didn't see 40. 40 was nowhere in my... I was told I wasn't going to see 18. My own uncle told me that. Man, looked me right in my face and his exact words. I was about 16 years old. I don't know what pissed him off. But he looked at me one day. He said, little motherfucker. He said, nigga, you ain't gonna live to see 18. He said, if you died, he said, nigga, I think that nigga said, if you died, I'd piss on your grave. And if you needed water in the desert, nigga, I'll give your ass peanut butter. I came up around some cold motherfuckers, dog. My uncle said, nigga, I'll give your ass. But at the same time, I learned a lot from him. I learned a whole lot of shit from him. But I don't know what I think I was trying to be grown one day. Yeah. I'm about 16, just turning 17. And I wouldn't necessarily say I was smelling myself because I always had a little respect and things like that. But my uncle used to be doing little shit for me. I might have him washing my little cars and stuff like that. So I think one day I might have got bigoted with him or some shit. And he checked my ass. Nigga used to say, young punk, nigga, you. And then I had to learn, understand that really, man, that wasn't really living. And I learned so much from older people regardless of what they did and how they did things. And I finally understood what that little frown in the middle of my dad's forehead always meant. Because all that shit I thought I was doing, that wasn't shit, man. That was so immature. Because if I would have known any better, the stuff that I'm doing now, I would have been doing this shit 20 years ago. I would have been fresh out of high school or in high school, already knowing my future, what the fuck I want to do, and been planning it. And that's how life really supposed to be. Bro, you ain't supposed to have... I don't know who the fuck said that. But to me, and from what I realized, bro, me personally, I feel like there's a certain time to play. And it's going to be a time you're going to have to be serious and stay focused because it's going to be hard getting focused, especially today. Now, with all this distraction and shit going on, these are good habits that you got to start making right now. So to a young man that's coming up that didn't have the same grooming as I did growing up because you got to think, discipline was an important thing. Getting your ass beat was a must. It says it in the book, thou shalt not spare the rod. For every child that was raised up without being disciplined the appropriate way, those kids have became troubled kids. I seen it with my own two eyes. I watched my brother, the only person that could ever break my mother's heart. Strongest lady I ever knew. And the only person that could ever hurt her feelings or made her cry was her son. And it fucked me up. because I never seen nobody disrespect no one as worse as he did my mom. Real shit. And I remember these things my father used to tell me when I was younger. Like, she kind of did that by overdoing it, spoiling them and shit like that. And it ruined him. It ruined him, man. And it backfired. Mom ended up dying while we were still young. Everything she came to pass. Bro, you can't change the past, and you had to live with regrets. And that's probably one of the toughest things in the world, man. You know? So that's very important. And fathers are important. You know? They definitely need to be in the kids' lives. Women, there's been a system created where it makes you feel like you don't need. So what if you make more money? That child still need his father. He still needs somebody to teach him how to be a man. You can't sit up there and go and show him how to hold his dick and piss straight. You can't be in the bathroom with him every time. You can get out there and tell him to go fight all the times you want to and all this shit and everything else and all that old type of shit. He still needs a man in his life, regardless, baby. You don't want to blame yourself. Because when that child get a certain age and he start acting out of emotions, you going to wish he had somebody there who taught him logic, where he's able to understand how to balance his emotions. Because those are things that men cannot deal with, their emotions. That's why I understood when Bird said he gave a fair warning for anybody that ever read his book. A fair warning. You do not want to live that lifestyle because everybody don't be able to adjust to it and to be able to stomach that shit. I posted a video early on IG. Well, the guy was saying, as a matter of fact, they pulled those videos off of TikTok. There's been a situation where there's been different occasions where guys would send their girls out of town, or these guys was thinking about whatever you call it, the swingers parties, being swingers and shit like that. So niggas would send their girls out or do the little swinger thing and don't expect women to be the same way. Bro, what I realize is nothing more freakier than a woman. You can do all the freaky shit in the world. That's why you don't want a motherfucker that's too exposed to certain shit. You don't want a motherfucker to feel like they know everything. Oh, that freaky shit. My nigga, I'm so cold, I don't even touch him a lot of times. I ain't lying. Especially the ones I really like that. If I really, really like it. Oh. I talk a little more about this in my book. It's a method and some things that you're supposed to do where you don't burn yourself out or spread yourself too thin or overdo it with that sexual shit. You can't overdo it. Trust me when I tell you. Especially when you're a street nigga. You might think that's the way. But boy, I watched that shit go for the worst. Like I was telling y'all yesterday. I hadn't got into one of my girls' head when I was about 18 years old. Because I understood it. But I also understood the role she played. Because with me being a young dude, she was a gold card in the game for a young nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it was on the right that I respected the game and I called it out exactly how I seen it. And I was right. You cannot leave it up to another motherfucker to just up and just tell you the truth. You gonna have to know, boy. And you ain't gonna always know. The moment you get the accent, like you don't understand or don't know some shit. Oh, bitch, you done this or whatever the case may be or something. You lost. You done. You gotta know, man. Get in your girl head and know. That's why I always said you have to know them better than they know themselves. You can never let a woman feel like she know you. You have to know her better than she know herself. I'm gonna do it simple as a thing. That's done. That's done. It's time for me to eat. Well, and it's the appropriate way. Back to the topic. Choosing and understanding when it's time to choose yourself. Shout out to Houston, man. What's up, baby? We need you to make your own podcast. I keep hearing that shit, man. Boy, I keep hearing that shit. I might well go ahead and do it. I got the setup. Had to set this shit up a long time ago, but I just be doing so much shit. I don't really be into it. And then sometimes I be watching other people's shit and be so caught up in funny shit that I be seeing already. But then it's so much more I can teach y'all with maybe a podcast and all kind of little other shit. So I'm definitely gonna go there eventually. Make sure I ain't missing anything. Monique, babe, I see you in there. Yeah, cool. Reinforcement. Life reinforcement. Nurture. Nurture said to support life is to accept it as it is, with all its problems, doubts, and conflicts. It involves accepting life with a sense of joy, wonder, and imagination, rather than a passive or resigned manner. Good and bad are not the same for everyone. Life is about self-overcoming. This is the process of going beyond conditioned behaviors and beliefs to find your own value. When we stop caring about what other people think of us, we can start to question, criticize, and finally get rid of the ideas of the social norms. This allows you to write your own moral codes and decide for ourselves what is important, useful, and satisfying. Get over yourself. Find your values and accept life in all its complexities. Enjoy life with all its chaos and confusion and make your own morals. Learn the overman because man can be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? This is a call to action. Make yourself think, question, and make things happen. This means we can get through hard times and become the people we really are. Focus on your purpose. Your pleasure will be more gratifying. I've always said, the race ain't given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to thee that endure to the finish. You gotta start from somewhere. Even in the shambles with the pieces of broken, pick them up, damn it. Start over. You can't just lay down, bro, because it ain't over with until the day is over with. And it ain't over with until the lights are off into this small planet. So you still got more life in you to continue to keep doing something. Regardless of what I was told, regardless of what I was up against, I always stayed focused. Disciplined myself with a sense of security, just knowing that this wasn't it. And I've been in some terrible, life-threatening, dangerous, scary situations, man, that taught me enough to know when it's time to walk away and let go, you know. And I have to thank God for that, man. So go back to the basics. Reteach yourself, dog. I'm talking to people around my age and stuff like that. But to the younger people, y'all really gonna have to work twice as hard, because a lot of this stuff that we was taught is no longer there for you guys. That word basically don't even exist no more. Parents get penalized for raising their children. Now, I understand brutality and beatings and all that old type of shit. But what happens when discipline ain't involved? You see this crazy shit that goes on today. Kids catching cases, killing on camera, doing weird shit. The little boy laying in the hospital bed just basically probably be charged with a robbery for shooting somebody, which is an ad and a robbery. But just so desperate to be a gangster and to prove a point, you willing to get yourself locked up behind going on a nigga podcast, trying to tell your side of a story behind getting shot. Man, I'm going to tell you just like a nigga told me. My brother told me when I was a kid, nigga always used to talk to me in codes. That nigga say, boy, slippers count. And that probably was the realest shit I ever fucking heard. Boy, slippers count. So you never go underestimate no motherfucker and all this old crazy shit. Boy, the moment you do that shit, man, you can't do it. That's why I don't kick a nigga while they down. I don't hold my nuts on a nigga, all that old crazy. You just don't do it. I'm advising you not to, man. Like I said before, you and I, your fellow brother, the colors and shit like that, that's not the enemy. We fighting a war that you can't even see. You better fucking pay attention to what's really going on around you. Just take the time out to sit back and think. Get out your phone give yourself 1 hour. Not even an hour. Bro, I give myself all the time of the day type shit. Real shit. But take your time out and just listen to what the world is saying to you. Take the time out to listen to what God is saying to you. For 1 hour, don't look into your phone, don't do shit else. Just pay attention to what's going on around you. Listen to the world, listen to the sounds. The birds chirping, smelling in the air. You can become one with the world and start sensing things. Now, I think this was something I was just born with, a gift to feel things and sense things. But if you can learn how to do those things, you can help navigate yourself throughout this life, man. And learning is a must. You want to learn. So pray, learn how to live, and as you live, continue to keep learning to live. And you keep living, dog. You make it your best life you can ever live, and you live it up. Don't never let nobody tell you anything different. I appreciate y'all, man. Whatever you're getting yourself into, stay out the way, man. Go out your way to stay out these suckers' way. What the day is, Monday. It's the beginning of the week. You got some that's getting ready to go to bed, to get ready for work first thing in the morning. To each his own. Work hard. Don't let work smart. Don't let the money make you. And be careful, man, especially in those work environments. Keep them motherfuckers out your personal business, because everybody ain't your goddamn friend. It's probably one of the most important things you should know about work environment. But other than that, man, stay blessed and definitely stay in prayer. This your boy, Sir Goldy. I represent that 36 ounce of golden game. Y'all stay blessed, man.